Hi everyone, I'm here to give you a basic introduction regarding Cypress Automation. What is Cypress? Cypress is a next generation front-end testing tool built for modern web application. This is built on Node.js so that it uses JavaScript as the programming language to write the tests in Cypress. But 90% of coding can be done by Cypress inbuilt commands which are easy to understand. So even though we don't know JavaScript programming languages, still we can start working with Cypress by knowing basic commands which are inbuilt in Cypress. And also we can write faster, easier and reliable tests using Cypress. Okay, let me explain you what are the different components in Cypress to work with. There are two components in Cypress. One is test runner and the other one is dashboard service. Here what you see is the test runner. This runs test in a runner that allows you to see commands as they execute while also viewing the application under test. Here you can see some subcomponents of the test runner that we should pay focus while executing our test cases. Here this is called test status menu, which shows you a summary of how many tests passed, failed or in progress and also the time took for the test. And here you can see the URL preview, which shows you the URL of your test and helps you to track any URL route. And this is viewport sizing. This will set your application viewport size to test responsive layouts. And also this is called command log, and this shows you the command log as it executes for all the tests that execute. And this is the app preview. You can see the test while these commands execute. So this is the test runner. And we'll move to the dashboard. Cypress Dashboard is a service that provides us to access the recorded tests and provides you with insight into what happens when your tests executed. So if you click on one of the tests that we have already executed, you will navigate to the dashboard and you can see all the information regarding the test which have been executed through this Cypress dashboard. Okay, so let's move to the next. Features in Cypress. Why Cypress different from other tools? What are the unique features we can see in Cypress tool? Here we're gonna talk about the features in Cypress. There are multiple uniqueness which makes Cypress one of the quickly adaptable choices for web automation. This delivers fast, consistent and reliable test execution compared to other automation tools because of the architectural design. So this tool runs much faster than other Cypress automation tools because the Cypress engine built in browser itself, and also so the browser itself taking care of executing the statement, so it is very fast when you compare with other automation tools. When consider about the automatic wait, Cypress automatically waits for commands and assertions before moving on. Cypress automatically reloads whenever you make changes in your test. You can experience all these when you are writing the tests. And also the debuggability. It takes snapshots as your test run. We can hover over each command in command log to accurately see what happened in each step. Cypress has the ability to view videos of the execution of your entire test when running from Cypress dashboard. Cypress are all in one. Cypress by default supplying everything as a single tool. Before Cypress came into the market, there are so many frameworks we had to use to handle the web application, which are implemented by using different types of framework. Like we need to choose a framework like Jasmine, Mocha, and also KubeUnit, and so on. Similarly, we need to choose a assertion library, and we need to install Selenium. On top of that, we need to install all the tools here. So we need to integrate all these tools to do end-to-end testing. So that's the situation before Cypress came into market. Cypress is all-in-one tool and end-to-end testing tool, so that we can do everything using the single tool. Also, we can do functional and API testing as well from Cypress. Cypress Project Setup. It's pretty easy to set up Cypress to your local machine. As the prerequisites, we need to install Node.js and Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE to write the tests in JavaScript, and then need to create new folder for Cypress Workspace and open the folder in Visual Studio Code. Through VS Code terminal, run the command npm init, and this will generate a package JSON. And then you have to run the command npm install Cypress to install Cypress. This is how we can set up Cypress into our local machine. It's pretty easy. After installing Cypress successfully to your machine, you'll find a folder structure like this here in the picture. Let me explain you quickly regarding this folder structure. Here in the very first folder is Fixtures. In the Fixture folder, we keep the test data in JSON format. Like this. And also you can see the integration folder. In the integration folder, we create JavaScript files and write our test cases like this. And then again you can find plugins. Plugins contains the plugins or listeners. Cypress will automatically includes the plugin file, which is known as index.js, before every test it runs. And also then you will find the folder Node modules. Node modules in the default project structure is the heart of Cypress project. All the Node packages will be installed in Node modules directly and will be available in all the test files. And here you can see Cypress JSON, and this is used to store different configurations, for example timeout, base URL, and test files, or any other configuration that we want to override for tweaking the behavior of the Cypress. So this is the basic introduction regarding Cypress. Now I'm going to automate the login functionality of this website. Before that, it is important to have a clear idea about what's a test scenario and what's a test case, and also what's a test suite. What's a test scenario? A test scenario is defined as any functionality that can be tested. For example, we can consider login functionality or registration functionality as a test scenario. What is a test case? A test case is a set of actions executed to verify a particular feature or functionality of your software application. Let's have a look at this example. Here, in order to verify login functionality successfully works, we have to check whether several instances matches with the expected result, just as mentioned here. These instances we are calling as test cases. So here, as you can see, check results on entering valid user ID and password is one instance that we can test in login functionality. There are many more instances similar to that. All these are nothing but test cases. What is a test suite? Basically, a test suite is a collection of test cases. Now we all have an idea about scenarios, test cases, and test suites. So now we can start automating the login functionality from Cypress. Now I'm going to write some test cases for the login functionality in this website. Okay, let me open Visual Studio Code, and under integration I will create a new file, test.js. So it will be a JavaScript file. So I will write the code, reference types types equal Cypress When you include this code in the beginning of the test script, it will give you auto suggestions from the Cypress. That's why I used this code. Then after that we need to create the test suite from Cypress. So in order to create a test suite from Cypress, we use the keyword describe, and there are two arguments, and first argument would be the name of the test suite. I would write it as test suite, and then function like this. Okay, this is the test suite created from Cypress, and we all know a test suite means it's a combination of multiple test cases. So in that point we can write multiple test cases inside this block. Now I'm writing a test case from Cypress. We use the it keyword in order to write a test case from Cypress. So I will name the this test case as login and function. Okay. So inside this test case we can write the test steps which is related to the login functionality. So the first test step is navigation to the website. If I write the Cypress command for the navigation to the website is cy.visit, and we need to include the URL of the website. Okay, and the next step is we need to type the login credentials, username and the password. It is the next step of the login functionality. So for that, to write the Cypress commands, for that we need to inspect these text fields, and we need to get the locators of these text fields. So if you inspect a text field, you can get the properties corresponding to the text field. So these are the attributes corresponding to this element. Yeah, these are the attributes corresponding to this text field. So I will take the ID of this text field and write the Cypress command using that locator. Here this get is the method which is get to the element based on the locator you have passed. So if you pass the locator through this get method, and you will get the corresponding element of this locator, and then we have to type the username, and then after that again we have to go to the password text field, and we are getting the locator, and by using the get method I included the locator, and in back I will get, using the get method, I will get the element corresponding to the locator. So type and admin username, it's admin 123, and then the last attempt is login. Last step is login, and this is the locator cy.get, and dot click. Okay, we have finished all the test steps which is related to the login functionality. Now we can execute this functionality, this test file. Click it and it will open the test runner, and here you can see in the command log all the commands that we have written. Okay, we have successfully logged into the website, and here you can see text username, text password. These are the locators that we have used, and when you mouse hover each and every locator, and you can in the app view you can see the corresponding element of each locators. Okay, now I want to validate the login scenario of this web application. When executing automated tests, we always need to check that the system is behaving as expected. Assertions are using to verify or validating the applications. They are the checkpoints that confirm if a test step of the automated test case passed or failed. So using the assertions in Cypress, I'm going to validate the login success in the web application. Here when user clicks on the login button, user navigates to a new page which is called dashboard page. We validate this navigation by comparing the current URL with the actual URL of the dashboard. So for that we need to create two variables. One is current URL and the other one is actual URL. So we already know the actual URL of the dashboard page, so we can assign the actual URL of the dashboard page from here. Copy paste, and you have to paste here. Okay, now in order to get the current URL, we write the Cypress command current URL equal cy dot. We are calling to the URL method in order to get the current URL, and then now we can compare the actual URL in the dashboard page with the current URL using the assertions. We write current URL dot should p.eq should be equal to actual URL. So this is the assertion. At any case, if these two URLs are not equal, this test case will be failed and the user should be unsuccessful. So if we execute this test case, you will see that the assertions in green color. If the URLs are not matching, So this assertion will be failed, which means this assertion will be in red color and the test will be failed. We'll do a change in the actual URL like this, and if we execute it, okay, so the current URL is not matching with the actual URL, so therefore the test case would be failed. There is one test case failed. Through this presentation, we have understood that Cypress is a powerful tool for testing modern web applications, and it supports testing of all types of web elements easily using powerful inbuilt commands. With that message, I would like to end my session. Thank you for listening.